So what happens to inmates if they cry in prison? So many men, and I'm not even trying to be like 50 Cent, cry in prison, right? We call it having a wet pillow. Dudes will put their head in their pillow, act like they're sleeping, and cry to sleep. I've seen dudes have the chaplain, come up to them and tell them some of the most horrific stuff. Mothers, fathers, children have been killed, died in a car accident, coming to see them at visitation. However, for me, the one time I really cried in prison was when somebody I grew up with. I mean, not in prison, but as kids in elementary school, so on and so on, killed himself basically in front of me, and there was nothing I could do to stop it as we were in confinement in adjacent cells. Mac and I grew up playing pee-wee football, baseball, Bucky Dent, all this stuff, man. We got into wrestling. We had hard lives, childhoods. However, we were always close, like brothers. And yes, we were robbing drug dealers, pulling heists, doing all types of dirtbag on dirtbag crime. He would go away before me, and he would get like 92 years for an attempted murder where he shot it out with some dude and shot the dude and then ran into the dude's house, got a home invasion. It was a drug deal gone bad, and he took his time and he was gone. You fast forward almost 7 years later, now I'm in prison. I'm 23, 24, and I'll be out around 30 years old. If he makes it to his release date, he'll be out when he's 111 years old. I knew he was in the same prison as me, and it was like a nostalgic feeling, seeing somebody in all of this war-torn, crazy chaos, thieving, just manipulation, death, constant just stress. To see somebody that you play football in their yard, went fishing with, it was a good feeling. However, it wouldn't last long, as Mac and I got caught up in some crazy shit. He's my bro. I've known him forever. Not no gang ties, none of that bullshit. When I say brother, I mean somebody that I literally would go on double dates with to the movie theaters in middle school. At this time, I really didn't understand mental health. I grew up in prison, unfortunately. I was state raised. So anybody that couldn't handle the pressure, we just looked at as weak, and they had to go. But when you see somebody that you know that isn't weak, but their mind is telling them no more, kill, I don't want to live, or kill this person. Like what happened in confinement, it still haunts me to this day. He would catch a brutal stabbing over somebody robbing his commissary or his pictures, something like that. And when you have forever and a day in prison, you're not playing with anybody. You're not doing a one-on-one fight. You're trying to gut them. You're trying to kill them. There is no other exchange of respect. This is where you live, and every item you have, most people that give it to you are probably going to be dead before you ever even get close to getting released. You will be forgotten about. They will move on. You're basically the walking dead. So while he was in confinement, for the case that I went into detail in a previous video, I would try to rip the face off of a child molester, rapist piece of shit in a game called Razor Tag. So while I was back there, I get sentenced to my time in confinement, disciplinary confinement. He was already there. He gets put in a cell directly adjacent from mine. And we're able to talk, do sign language, pass like kites to each other. Dudes are fishing line where they can literally, they're so good with that shit, they can throw it anywhere and then wing it into a cell. And I started to see a change in him. It wasn't that he was being cowardly or anything like that. He was still walking around with that smile, with his gold teeth, just laughing and, always telling me jokes in sign language. However, he starts asking me for advice. Like, bro, how do you do it, man? Like, just asking me how to get right. How should I get right, bro? I got all these thoughts in my head. And, to me, I didn't understand it then. I took it as like, this is a dude I looked up to. This is a dude that is showing me how to survive in prison. As soon as I first got here, he handed me a knife and told me what to look out for. And this is what it is. And he's asking me for advice on how to live right. And, it took maybe 3-4 years before I even started to mature in my sentence to start to live righteous. Not that I wasn't working out and reading, but I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. So I'm telling him, like, man up, bro. Like, what are you doing? Stop, dude. Like, come on. In my mind, I'm letting my ego lose a best friend because I'm like, this is making us look weak. I'm telling him, just tighten up. Get your shit together, man. Stop. You better. I didn't understand what he was really saying. This situation was something that haunts me every day. Man up, man up. He wasn't needing that encouragement. It was the encouragement of, bruh, you're the first person I've seen in forever, bro, that I love. You're my family. I need to get right, man. I'm losing my shit, man. And I could have encouraged him. I didn't know then, but I was a leader amongst men. And I'm not trying to sound conceited or cocky, but some people are leaders when they're in the free world and they have the safety and all the resources. And some men are leaders in the Armageddon when there's nothing but you and yourself, your word, your heart, and your spiritual belief, depending on what that is. I didn't know that I had that in me at the time. So I'm looking at it like, you asking me to help you get right? Bro, I'm back here having gladiator fights. I just try to rip a chomo's face off. And, I'm getting almost irritated. But really, I'm not. But I feel like that's how I'm supposed to be, right? And as days would go by, we're in confinement. It's the madhouse back here. He would start to tell me, bro, I'm about to check out, bro. And I'm doing sign language like, what are you talking about, man? What you gonna do? You're gonna get a transfer, bro? Wait till we beat this. Man, let's go home, man. That's how institutionalized work. Let's go home let's go back to the compound. We'll eat some food, we'll work out, and we'll get back to doing time. And I start to realize, like, is it because I'm here that maybe, like, I trigger something? I don't know, man. Whatever. But that thought crosses my mind every day. Anyway, so we're talking more and more, but I see he's getting more recluse. And he's like, bro, this shit ain't it, bro. This ain't it, bro. I need you, bro, to like, I'm going psych. And psych isn't a term of like, he's just completely going insane. It's like a slang in prison of like, I'm about to just crash out. I'm about to just do the ultimate, just, whatever it takes. Take out a guard, take out an inmate, take out myself. Like, that's what he's saying. And I'm telling him, tighten up, man up, bro. This ain't you. You're not weak, bro. What are you doing, dude? He goes, bro, everything I once had, I lost, bro, over nothing. It's all over, bro. Like, he's really sending me letters and shit. Some of them I still have to this day, man. And, I feel like I should be getting frustrated, right? But one day, he's telling me he's going to check out. I'm like, Matt, come on, bro. What's up? And I'm looking, and I see whatever, that he had got some dope or something from a trustee. And he overdosed. And I'm like, nah. I'm watching this shit through the window. I'm banging on the window, Mac. And his cellmate is hitting the window too. And I'm seeing him. He's trying to help him. I'm screaming, give him CPR or something, dog, help. But dude don't know what the fuck to do, man. And we're screaming for the guards. Dudes are hitting the wall. But the same way that, they don't come around and these chomos get tortured back there, it goes like a double-edged sword. He would ultimately die as he shot so much whatever into his body. And it took the officers almost 42 minutes to finally come back there. They're supposed to do rounds every 15 minutes. Like I tell you guys about the gladiator fights and how we tortured the chomos and they'd accidentally put us in a cell. Well, this is where it becomes a double-edged sword. I just watched my friend die and it was hopeless. Like a dream where you try to throw a punch, but you just can't move. And I realized that this whole time I was feeding my ego, saying, man up. What I should have been doing is tell me what's wrong, bro. Man, we gonna tell me, bro. And I could have had him. Because sometimes all people need is for someone to listen to them. Not tell them what they should do. Because a lot of times what we tell people they should do is what we think they should do. I should have just listened and just told him, man, we got this, bro. You got me now. My family's gonna help you. We got this, bro. You got somebody now here. But instead, I just told him with the institutionalized mindset, that egotistical, you can show no weakness mindset is supposed to have. And it didn't even feel right when I told him it. And those words haunt me to this day. However, at the same time, other inmates would laugh and say, man, I wish I could take the easy way out. And, I couldn't even argue because that's how it's looked at in prison. Anyway, that shit definitely made me cry in prison. Stay out, stay free, us.